Good afternoon to one and all present here. My name is Professor R.K. Tomar, and I am representing IMT College of Engineering, Department of MBA. First of all, good afternoon to everyone, and I hope everyone have joined us a great day ahead. So, first of all, I would like to invite all the respected dignitaries who are present on the board, starting from Dr. S.S. Tyagi, Director, IMT College of Engineering, followed by Dr. Vivek Rastogi, Head of the Department, MBA, Senior Faculty, Professor Jitendra Singhal, Department of MBA, and our veteran, Dr. K.N. Chaube, Professor Dr. K.N. Chaube, Colonel, as esteemed guest and esteemed dignitaries present on the board. We are in continuous practicing. We are in continuous practice of organizing this session time and again. This is part and parcel of our Indian Institution Council, Ministry of Education, to organize this event to promote the sense of entrepreneurship among students. For today's session, we have exclusively invited and requested our MBA students to join our session to gain the insight of new entrepreneurship. Today's session will be dealt in angel investment and venture capital funding opportunity for early stage entrepreneurship. This is an important and burning topic. I hope everyone is aware of how we are heading in crisis today. We are lacking jobs in almost all the sectors, and only the new entrepreneurs and the new developers can put in efforts to promote new organization so that we can have more and more students, more and more number of entrepreneurs in the business sector. So they can become job creator, not job seekers. So this is the motto for today's government also. We have to become job providers, not job seekers. So in this connect, we are organizing this session for angel investment, which is an important issue when an entrepreneur start his new business. So for this session, we have exclusively requested Mr. Gopal Ranjan is working as is a 35-year young person, young and dynamic professional working with State Bank of India, Purnia, Bihar. Professor Gopal Ranjan is working as a faculty and manager at State Bank Institute of Development, Purnia, Bihar. He has an experience of State Bank of India, which includes MSME, credit, retail credit, and organizing orientation program for newly recruited junior associates and officer cadre in State Bank of India. Mr. Gopal Ranjan has served as branch manager in various areas of Bihar and Jharkhand over 5 years. He has served as a deputy manager credit portfolio for 3 years in the entire region of Region Business Office in Betia, Bihar, handling SME, agriculture, and retail credit portfolio. Mr. Gopal Ranjan has been time and again given opportunity with the government, Ministry of Education, to take approximately 30 sessions for budding entrepreneurs as RSETI, which stands for Rural Self-Employment Training Institute, Jamtara, Jharkhand, in their EDP, Entrepreneurship Development Program sessions. So, dear audience, we have a person having rich and dynamic experience in the area of angel investment, and for which we have invited you to attend the session. I hope when Mr. Gopal Ranjan delivers his lecture, you'll get the detail and insight on how to start up your own entrepreneurship project or entrepreneurship project fund. So he'll be detailing you all the requirements and nitty-gritty of what is required when you go ahead with a new startup entrepreneurship. So first of all, I would request our HOD, Dr. Vivek Rastogi, to first of all declare this session as open. Over to Dr. Rastogi, sir. Sir, unmute. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful opportunity and express my gratitude to Mr. Gopal Ranjan also that he is very dynamic personality. We have heard a lot of lectures Gopal Ranjan before that also, and I am really very thankful to all my team members and also students who are getting the opportunity that nowadays the time of the entrepreneurship and how we have settled the entrepreneur, how we have started the startup. The most important part is the finance. The most important part is the investment. So in this duration, we have invited Gopal Ranjan. Sir, very short notice, I declare this session open and really thankful to all to join this wonderful session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek Rastogi. Now, without wasting much of your time of my students, I would request Mr. Gopal Ranjan to go ahead and to start off his session. Over to Gopal Ranjan, sir.
Thank you, sir. Can you please confirm, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, you are very much.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm thankful to Tomar sir, Dr. Vivek Rastogi, and our esteemed faculties present here to give an opportunity again to share my insights, my experience, and also on the important topic of entrepreneurship and early stage fund requirements, which generally we derive from angel investors or venture capital funds. Also, some requirements, what they need, we will discuss here. In this session, I have structured it into 4 parts: a basic introduction, how to prepare for this, our presentation, our proposal, when we approach this angel investors or venture capital funds organization. The third one is how to prepare this whole proposal and review it. And in the last, we will share some of this people, venture capital organizations, how they are doing their work, what are their niche areas in which they are operating. I'd like to share a small presentation here, which will we will go through and see how things flow. To start with, as rightly said, Sri Thomas sir and Dr. Vivek Rastogi, in the current area or the current times, what we are facing, there are disruptions everywhere. And the budding entrepreneurs need to be promoted over a period of time through various initiatives, through academic initiatives, through these sessions, these kinds of sessions. So that will be an opportunity to students, to the entrepreneurs who think they have the idea, the acumen to move forward in this particular area. So to start with, today, I'd like to start with a very outstanding line. We as a whole have now felt over the last few years that we must respect entrepreneurs. In our stages, some 10 or 20 years back, when I have graduated from my college, people, my family members, the society at large had a feeling that when you land in a white collar job earning 6 figures or 7 figure salary, you will be respected, you'll be a respected member among the society. Now things are drastically changing. So from today, if you think this is the right path for you, I'm talking to the students who are listening to us, they must start respecting the entrepreneurs around themselves. Be it a fleet owner, a taxi fleet owner, be a small milk booth owner, be a grocery owner, they have invested their time, energy, and money. Once you start respecting today, from today or after this session, you will start observing, or my suggestion would be you have to start observing how they complete their task, what problems they are facing, what their customers are facing, the problems actually. So when you start seeing key, suppose if a grocery store has a lot of customers and waiting time is more, what should the grocery owner should do to address this problem? Otherwise, he is leaving open an opportunity for other entrepreneurs to grow, to capture his market. What I'm saying, you all have studied in your graduate programs or MBA programs. This is what we call entry barriers. Entry barrier should be made a little high so that the opportunity window is not open or very easily open to fellow competitors. They can get into your market. So I hope the opening line by your HOD, Mr. Rastogi, Mr. Tomar sir is very clear. Entrepreneurship is way out. So to start with, let us see what are the different funding opportunities available for early stage entrepreneur. When I define or when I have an opinion about early stage entrepreneur, it is they have registered themselves as an entrepreneur, be it a proprietorship firm or partnership firm or a company, one-man company or LLPs. These are different legal entities to be created when you create a venture or an enterprise. When you are done with it, you need some funds. You may have your own funds to start with, but to move ahead, you should be approaching people, organizations. So let us see what are the options available currently. What I'm talking in Indian domain only. See, we are restricting ourselves to the Indian economy or Indian market where we have this opportunity. Rightly said, this is on your screen where we have to raise the funds. This can be raised from venture capital funds. These are well professionally managed funds, and these companies have its own theme and they invest exclusively in their areas of expertise. It's an organization kind of structure. They have people, managers, or experts hired within themselves who assess your proposal. The proposal you submit to them, they assess your proposal. So suppose if a venture capital fund is looking into tech startups and your business in grocery startup or something like that, you must not approach that particular venture capital fund for seeking funds. Okay, so when you submit your proposal, you need to look into venture capital funds, what are their area of expertise, whether you will get a hit on your proposal or it will not be looked after. The second important thing, banks or NBFCs. I'm from bank. Banks also over time and again are continuously innovating their portfolios, their products and their services. Lastly, last financial year in my State Bank of India, we have dedicated some 500 crore of funds towards startup funding. Although we have a small barrier to it, only will take proposals which are being routed through incubators. When we move forward, I will talk about incubators also. These are specifically designed by Government of India MSME Ministry. So we have tie-up with incubators. They invest their time, their technical expertise in your startups, and when they are ready to launch, they send their proposal to us. Similarly, NBFCs, non-banking financial companies, are a pillar in form of lending and credit, and they lend informally or formally also. So in NBFCs also, they are looking for early stage startups. Basically, banks and NBFCs invest when these startups mature. But only a barrier is that, or an opportunity. You can see it as a barrier as well as an opportunity. When your proposal, even though it is in your early stage and it has passed the basic merits through incubators, the laid down criteria, that can be funded also. So to approach for funding through banks or NBFC, you have to take this route of incubators. Then there is venture debt funds. Initially, when I talk about venture capital and debt, I hope you must be able to differentiate between capital and debt funds. When venture capital funds invest, they take a share of your equity. They become a partner in your business through equity holding. When I'm talking about venture debt funds, They lend you. It's a debt on a predefined interest. You have to pay in form of interest or whatever is mutually agreed between you and this debt funds. They do not take a share of your capital or equity. They lend you, and in either through EMI, through interest, or through in flexible mode. When I'm talking about early stage entrepreneurship, the cash flow means the product or the service what you have tried to solve through your enterprise is in early stage and the cash flow is not that strong. So they have flexible repayment opportunities given to you. As you mature down the line, they will increase EMIs or they will ask for principal repayment. So these are the natures of venture debt funds. Next one is threats. It's a financing concern faced by SME or startups. RBI together, it's a technical platform introduced by RBI. They have exchange-like structure. Suppose if you are a product-oriented startup or a service-oriented startup, you are serving to your customers are high-end corporate or government suppliers. So when they raise invoice, here you can get it discounted. You must have heard of operating cycle. Your funds are stuck in your working capital requirements, raw materials, salary payments. So when you raise an invoice, some banks, few banks are registered here. State Bank is also registered here. They bid for it and you get the best price. Again, it's a kind of debt invoice funding. Your funds get immediately released when you are registered on threads. So keep it in mind when your customers, these are exclusively for those startups which are offering services to high-end corporate customers or government or PSUs. If your idea to start such a startup, then please think of your invoice can be, once the invoice is raised, your preferred product and services are delivered, then you can discount it through threads through very minimal interest payment on those invoices, and up to 90 to 95%, and in some cases 100% of your invoices are discounts. This is what that platform is offering. Now, incubators. Incubators are set up by organizations, even IITs and IIMs and many top-notch MBA colleges have incubators when your ideas are nurtured and formally captured through an enterprise. They take you from your idea to the launching stage, and they have tie-ups with various banks, various other venture capital funds. So basically, when you talk about incubators, they are your mentors, people with expertise in their areas. They nurture you. They take you to a launching. They take your enterprises to a launch pad where you start your enterprise. The next is government loan schemes. We have through banks and NBFCs. Banks are offering Mudra Scheme, CGTMS scheme, Stand Up India scheme, where the funding is available. In Mudra Scheme, we have funding available both to trading as well as services and manufacturing enterprises up to rupees 10 lakhs without any collateral. Similarly, in Stand Up India scheme, this scheme is exclusively for a particular section of society, that is scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. If the promoters, if your enterprise and the promoters are from this communities, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, or women entrepreneurs, then you can go to Stand Up India, and the credit ranges from 10 lakhs to 1 crores. And please take a note, this is only for greenfield enterprise, what we call startups. The next is CGTMSC, up to 2 crores. This is available for manufacturing and services, and 1 crore are for retail trade, if you are in a trade kind of activities. Angel investors, these are individuals, high net worth individuals who are looking for this people who are they are promising, their enterprises are promising, their ideas are promising. So either they will reach you or you can reach them. The next thing is crowdfunding. Crowdfunding, you propose an idea on social websites and you seek funds. Although what I have talked about 7-8 opportunities or 7-8 avenues where you can go for funding requirements, this crowdfunding is still not in mature stage in India. Although in Western economies in Europe and America, this has matured a lot. People raise a lot of money through crowdfunding. But here in India, this system is still not matured, although few of the enterprises are getting benefit out of it. So these are the opportunities available for early stage entrepreneurs, which I have discussed. In next stage, I will discuss how the proposal to be made. This we call a pitch deck for investors. Suppose I have been through in credit for a long period of time, VSS proposals, VSS, a lot of proposals from new startups, where I call it startups or a greenfield enterprises. They are starting their business. They have their own money. Now they are reaching us for further funding. So when I see a proposal, I look into many things. This has been captured in this image, which I'm sharing with you. I hope you can see it. So there are 10 basic things, and any investor, a banker will look into for assessing your proposal. And what it would be, I'll read it out. The business model, what business you are proposing, what area you are venturing into it. They will look whether this is a profitable, whether this can be scaled up, whether economy of scale is feasible or not. The second is your money part. How much money is required? How much money you have invested? How much money more needs to be invested? The next is market size. Market size, for example, let us take some examples here. Suppose Zomato and Swiggy. See, these are the tech startups. Okay, so they have used this technology, artificial intelligence. You can talk of Flipkart, Amazon, and all this. These are the tech startups. Although they are looking, the market size is universal. Everybody needs grocery, their items delivered to home. Last 3 years, we have gone through such a coronavirus time or COVID times we have gone through, where restrictions, personal touch, and going to market was seen as a crime. Many people have been punished for that also. You might have seen sitting in your television or videos. So what is the market size they will look into? When I was talking about economy of scale, ki market kitna bada hai, how the market will grow up, whether market is matured, where awareness needs to be created, whether this is a new market, a niche market, or discretionary spending market. So based on this, your volumes, your sales or revenue will be generated. The next is solution. The idea which you have proposed needs to be addressed through solutions in different stages. You have to address the solutions. If I'm talking about Zomato or Swiggy, they have the problem of delivering restaurant food or cooked food directly to house was never felt in India. But they have created a problem where, suppose if we need to go to a restaurant, we have to spend some time on roads preparing. Also, we need to dress up. So it takes time. So they have created a problem. Now they are offering solutions. The same food, the same hygienic food, the same tasty food, whatever your taste may be, is now being delivered to you. The next part is team. A person, whenever create an enterprises, he have a core team. 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, 10 people, based on the problems or the business model you are looking in. They create a team. So they look into your team, how the teams are made. We will discuss this later in a few slides from here. The next is your marketing plan. How you will market your product or services. The competition is at the market is new, the market have competition or not, or if there is competition, how you are addressing it. Are you offering something new, some new way of delivering a few product or services? Are the people used to it? So they will look into competition. And what I have talked about entry barriers, whether the entry barriers are high enough so that this market or your business model will be sustainable over a period of time to make it profitable. They, once the investors invest money, they want it to, they want it back also. Okay, so they look into competition angle from a very tough side. You have to prepare for it, whether you have assessed the existing competition in the market or not. The elevator pitch, the presentation, this whole model, what I'm talking about, this will be your elevator pitch. How you push your product, how confident you are. It will be seen when you put the proposal. You have studied the market, you have studied the competition, you have studied people, test behavior, you have taken reference, you have surveyed the market. So this elevator pitch, the data you have collected, it should not be hypothetical. The survey, you all know, we have various statistical methods, various empirical methods for survey. So when you survey it, whether the survey is well captured or not, this all should be incorporated in your proposal. The next is proprietary tech. What all tech process you are incorporating in your proposal? Okay, so whether this is your own idea, whether this is you have copied from somewhere else, we have, whether you have modified it. So this all they will look into. And the final one is the problem, the overall problem. See, when I have started this discussion, this session, I have said start respecting entrepreneurs around you. Start observing the customers, the delivery person, the supplier, the entrepreneur. Then you will have a fair idea whether any problem exists or not. Your mind will start clicking into it, whether we should go for this problem, whether we should have some associated problems, what is the waiting period time. Today, when we see at youngsters or even at this stage, people don't want to wait. So this can be a triggering factor when an idea is generated. So the proposal, I have covered this 10 commandments or 10 basic things. These are not very complex things. Whenever you look into a problem or any problem statement, this will be there. It's simple mathematics, simple business ideas. Don't be in a state of mind, these are very tough things. These are very easy things. Only you need few papers. Whenever you work on any idea, keep a pen, keep a paper, keep your ideas recorded, keep recording things, the business model, the money, keep recording. When you start recording all these things, you have a fair idea. And when you prepare a proposal, this pitch deck, this is a technical term. I'm talking, I will be talking more on proposal rather than pitch deck. It may doesn't augur well for you, because when we talk about proposal, you are making a proposal. When I talk about pitch deck, it is somewhat complex. It can create some initial hiccups in you. So let us think about a proposal, and in technical terms, it is called as pitch deck. This 10 things should be addressed when you prepare a proposal. And when you finalize it, all those jotted points, recorded points should incorporate this 10 commandments, how you are addressing it, what are different things you have worked on. Suppose I have, when I have talked about competition, you must have incorporated any survey. When I talk about market size, you must have taken customer preference. Those things should be recorded. Your market, you have surveyed. It can be survey methods if you have studied. It can be online, it can be people to people survey, and it can be a very small number also. It can start from 100, it can go to 1,000. If you look into, I'm digressing into a different point here. You must have seen elections and exit polls. The whole 130 crores or 80 crores people vote, and through a sample size of 54,000 to 1 lakh, they create an exit poll where results are declared. And most of the times, the exit poll predicts the mood of the nation. Why I'm saying this? Because your survey, you're getting into the market, you just not get into the customer preference, you get into the business model also, how much money would be required, what all problems the customers are facing, you have a fair idea. So also survey things, prepare a model, prepare a proposal, incorporate all these 10 things in your proposal, and then approach the different opportunity, what we have discussed, venture capital funds or angel investors, banks, NBFCs, or any other opportunity where you find it. So let us move forward. We will discuss these things in brief here. So if you can see it, problem statement, what problem you are looking into it. In this whole session, I will be taking examples of Zomato and Swiggy because this was a unique model. The problem doesn't existed. Nobody sitting among us or viewing this session would have thought 10 years or 20 years back that food will be delivered at home. The idea might have clicked among the founders, the entrepreneurs, somewhere sitting. Suppose if I'm going to a restaurant and I find I'm stuck in a traffic. We all belong to big cities, whether it is Patna, Bangalore. The problem of traffic exists and it will continue to exist. So people thought if I'm planning moving out for a dinner or a party out, night out, we have to spend a lot of time on roads. Why we should not deliver these things to home? So my point of view here is ideas are not slaves of individual or elite or the academician or the educational profile. Idea can be generated anywhere. What I have told is you need to observe. When you start looking at entrepreneurs within your surroundings, wherever you go, you will see the problems still exist. There are many problems which needs to be solved. You just have to focus what the customers are facing. Customer is the king. Any customers, for example, suppose if I'm from a bank, people have to wait for few minutes to sometimes few hours in banks. People going to electricity to deposit electricity bill, they have to wait. This waiting time is a burning problem. Now you have to look into what idea you can create, whether this idea is commercially feasible or not, whether people are ready to pay for this service or this solution or not. So my only view here is keep yourself abreast with observations around. Start recording consumer problems when you move out of the college, when you move out of your academic profile. You must start recording what people are facing today, the problems. Does they exist? Keep yourself in that place, whether if a solution is offered for this particular problem, whether you are ready to pay for it or not. Once you think of your mind, start discussing it with your colleagues, your fellow students, whether they are willing to pay for it. Suppose if I'm giving a solution and they are ready to pay, it can be developed into a commercial feasible idea. So when you prepare a proposal, this idea or the problem statement should be clearly stated, and what it should contain. I'm saying here, is the company or the enterprise solving a big enough problem need for the customer? Is it a real problem or it is an interesting problem? Is this problem faced by at least 1% of the country's population? The market size. The 10 commandments last presentation or the last page we have viewed, you have seen the market size. If the problem is faced by many people, then the market exists. You need only to have a business solution to it. Are people willing to pay for you for solving this problem? That's what I have stated. Are people consistently aware of this problem, or do you need to create awareness? That's why I have taken example of Zomato or Swiggy. The problem, whether existed or not, if you ask a person 10 years back, if we are able to travel, if you are able to do time travel 10 years back, if I ask someone whether food delivered to your home, would you like it? He will say, what you are asking, I don't know. But I can commit here, almost all of us in our life, last 2-3 years, we have ordered something online in form of food, groceries or something. Similarly, you might have heard of Elon Musk, who is preparing a commercial venture where people will be paying for space travel. Today, when we travel through a flight, we think it as a middle class opportunity. But tomorrow it may happen, the space travel would be a middle class reality. We from middle class, we can think this can be a reality. Today, this person, Elon Musk, is trying to create awareness. Key discretionary spending, you can have a thought, you can look the earth from space. And he has created an enterprise. He is working on it. In 3 to 4 years, we'll be seeing people will be paying crores of rupees to travel to space. Also, they are trying to make it commercially feasible. So, at the end of this particular slide, I would like to state ideas are not the slaves of anyone. Any idea, if you can generate and have a litmus test on this commercial proposition, the question asks whether people are willing to pay for it, whether awareness needs to be created, whether the problem is big enough. So once you have that idea, start working on it. The idea will have many problems set. If I take example of Zomato and Swiggy, the first problem would be whether people have an acceptance when the food will be delivered home or not. This problem tangibly did not exist when this enterprise would have been launched. But the main problem was whether people will accept it or not. They were offering discounts. When the problem exists, you will have to look into those solutions. The whole logistic part, there can be subset of problems, the main problem and the associated problem. The main problem was at the initial stages would be whether people will accept it or not. The sub stages of the problems or the subsets of the problems were how we will deliver food. Can we have kitchens, or we will have tie-ups with the restaurants? How commissions will be paid to the restaurants? How discounts will be offered? How delivery partners will be chosen? How this delivery partners will be paid? So there will be a problem you will be solving. But when you start looking for solutions, you can have n number of other problems. So if I'm an investor, I will look into, you are solving a problem, whether you have looked into other set of problems or not, which are related to it, although which are not the main problem, you have worked on the solutions or not. So you have to record in your proposal or pitch deck statement, these are the main problem which we are addressing. This can be subset of problems which we need to look into. So the person who is looking at your proposal will have a mindset that this enterprises had researched well into the problems or any other problems which might may crop next. Okay. What investors look for, which we are talking about, is your solution to solving the problem is complete or is it solving partially? What is the core value proposition of the solution? Is it saving money for the customer, or is it saving time for the customer, or is it providing convenience? Three important things. Please, if you are listening, you can take a note. Any idea which will be addressed or any problem which you are offering solutions will have either of these three. Either it is saving money for the customer, either it is saving time for the customer, or it is providing convenience. If any of these three problems are not solved, then your idea may not be commercially feasible. Please take a note. These three things you must look into. It must be well researched. It should be corroborated with evidences, facts, and customer sets of data. Are people willing? Suppose when I was talking about space travel, are people willing to pay for it? This can be a discretionary spending, because if I have to spend rupees 1 crore on space travel, whether I should pay or not. Now, if you define market size from here, how many people are earning more than 1 crore? The first question would be that. If you look into income tax data, we have 10 lakhs of people who are earning more than 1 crore. So this could be your market size. I'm talking some hypothetical situations about market size. So when 10 lakhs of people are earning more than 1 crore, so these people are your market size. Now, have you surveyed some of this? Does your survey has covered some customers among this group, or you are talking to a people who is traveling on a road on a scooter or a scooty or a motorcycle, whose net worth would not have crossed rupees 1 crore. If you are surveying him, he will say, your survey result would not be appropriate. He will say, I'm trying to make my ends meet, and you are asking me to spend rupees 1 crore on space travel. So when you approach market size, you must know what the market is. The income tax some years back have published 10 lakhs of people are earning more than 1 crore. So you should approach those kind of people. Okay. Is it providing convenience? Space travel would not provide any convenience. It is a discretionary spending, a niche market. Okay. So 3 things, again, I'm repeating. Any problem, what you are looking, what your idea has, what you have generated the idea must address either of these 3 problems or more than one of these problems. It can be either they are saving their money, either they are providing convenience, or they are saving their time. Why people will pay is a prominent question asked by investors, why people will pay. So you must be in a position backed by your data that people will pay because people are time specific, people want to save time. So my problem or my solutions is offering them that they can save time. Same is in the case of Zomato or Swiggy. Is it providing a convenience or is it saving money? So by these 3, you can prepare a proposal. You can test your proposal whether it will be commercially feasible or not. Business model canvas. If you look into the business model canvas, what it should contain, the key partners, your team, key activities, what all activities you are doing, key resources, what resources you need, value propositions, the problems, the solutions, customer relationship channels. Customers are very important. If you have what all channels through which today we have B2C channel, we have online channels, we have referral channels, these we call leads. How leads will flow into, how your prospective customers will take your product or services, which all channels you are opening. You are promoting, suppose if you are advertising on Facebook or social sites, what are the numbers? Whether you are getting into the market directly, you are doing door-to-door marketing for your product or service. Customer segments, what are the different customer segments? Suppose when I talk about space travel, we have niche customers. When I talk about this Zomato, Swiggy, or some other tech products, anybody, for example, anybody, as I have stated, all of us in last 2-3 years have used these platforms. So customer segments will be anybody. ठीक है, तो जैसे आप प्रोडक्ट यूज कर रहे हो, द प्रोडक्ट्स और द सर्विसेज यू आर ऑफरिंग, who will be your targeted customer segments. The next is your cost structure. When you have resources, what would be the cost? What would be the hiring cost? What would be the raw material cost? What would be the technical cost? If you are taking a technical team, what would be the cost? The cost, how the cost, whether the cost is fixed, whether the cost is variable, what are the different ratios of this cost structure? You need to clearly spelled out, and that needs to be clearly spelled out in your proposal or pitch deck. Then your revenue streams, how the revenue, what are the different revenue streams? Suppose in cases of Zomato, Swiggy, if I am tying up with restaurants, if I'm scaling up their sales, I will have some discounts. I will offer some discounts, or I will say them, if from your restaurants this much of delivery happens, we will share profits. So one revenue stream can be from the profits. The second revenue stream can be from direct customers. So what are your different revenue streams? You need to clearly spell it out. When you are offering a service, there can be a chain of services. If you see today, urban company, I'm taking few examples of startups, they are giving services to various technical products like refrigerators, ACs, maintenance. So if I look at their revenue streams, they are having revenue streams through direct servicing. Then they have annual membership plans. Then they have tie-ups with various other manufacturers. They are trying to have So they have 3 revenue streams. And what are the breakup structure? The overall revenue from direct customers, this much is revenue. From royalty or loyalty or membership, we are getting this much. From our partners, we are getting on each service this much. So your revenue stream must be clearly structured, and how you are moving ahead to increase your revenue. So your business canvas model should be complete mathematics. More or less, it will be a complete math, additions, subtractions, different ratios, volumes, percentage. That should be clearly spelled out. Although it will look a little hypothetical. It can look a little hypothetical. Suppose if I approach 1,000 customers, this will be 10% will go for annual membership plan. If I go for 1,000, some more tie-ups will be added. So these are assumptions and hypothetical situations, but it should be little hypothetical. You cannot say that I will earn 100% of my revenue through royalty, and you are losing on each service. So any investor over a period of time, as I have said earlier, will take their money back with some value proposition. So these things should be very clearly spelled out in black and white. There should not be any shades of gray. Practical calculations would matter here. Impractical or much of the hypothetical situations will take your proposal to a state where it will not be approved. The team which we have talked about, what the investors look in your team. Are your team complementary? Suppose 3 or 4 people are basic founders. They have different skill sets. One can be from science background, other can be from technical background, other can be from somewhere he had experience in MNCs or such. Does your team have complementary skill set? Whether the problem or the solutions which you are offering, the required skill set is being completed through the team member. How long the founders have known each other, means how the association is. Are that through your college time or through your working time or in your professional experience, you know each other. Okay? Or can the founder hire the right set of talent required for this business? Again, suppose 3 or 4 people join together to form an enterprise, but they don't have all the required skill set. It is always not possible for individuals, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, to have all the skill set. So what are your hiring plans? How you will complement the team? How you will pay them? What will be the cost structure? This they will ask, or if they ask, it is better to have, when you are looking at the problem sets and solutions, you can have those in your proposal. Then your proprietary technology expertise, what the investor look out for. Here your competition, whether what you are offering, the product or the service, have competition and how you are addressing it. What is the competitive advantage? Here I would like to discuss about Ola and Uber and some other few startups from last 10 or 15 years. When Ola and Uber have launched in India, we have a typical mindset. We go to bus stand, we go to airports, we hire taxi from there. They have their own sets of dilemmas, their own sets of dramas, that you need to pay this much. This is evening time, we will have this much of waiting time. Individuals do not have any structure. They have somewhere they will asking for very high prices. Then there is some breakup. So many problems existed. This problems was there. People were feeling the problem, but nobody offered them the solutions. These people, Ola and Uber, have come up with this key. They'll offer a homogeneous services to the customers, whether they will take out their mobile, they book their taxi, and within seconds they will know the price, who is in how much time the cab driver or the cab will approach them. Initially, it may have looked whether this will be acceptable by the customer, but today, wherever we move out, even in cities, for city travels also, these people are now offering, for outstations also they are offering. So they have created a homogeneous market. They have this competitive advantage over the existing players? So the few questions you must have in your mind: is the company building a 10 times better product or services? Is there any learning curve or first mover advantage in the space? First mover in the sense, suppose today milk is offered through milk booth, whether if you're trying to deliver it home, what would be the cost, whether any competitor would arise. So whether it, any learning curve in the sense, in initial stages, you may not have you may not have researched well, or you must know how the market will respond to it. So you have only 5 to 6 set of problems which you have addressed. So whether you have kept the space for learning curve, how the customer will mature, how the market will mature, and how you will respond to it. Is it a winner takes it all market? Here it is a brand value, whether you are creating brand out of your problems and solutions offering. Are there strong, sustainable competitive advantage the company has built around it? That was that what I was talking about, entry barriers. Are the entry barriers tough enough, big enough? No new players will come in. So these are questions you have to put in mind. If they come in, the market will not grow. The market has a certain if you see at statistical data, the market will grow at its own level. But if you are if many players do come into, the market for you will shrink. So whether you have built sustainable advantages or whether you are addressing those questions or not, this investors will look into. Now here, where the money will go. You have approached an investor in your early stage of enterprise. They will ask whether you will be taking this money, how much money you are raising, how much. First question would be how much money is required over a period of time. In next period, in next year or so, how much money is required, and how much you are raising, how much you have raised, how you will spend this money. You have prepared a survey, you have taken the problem, you have taken the solutions, you have hired the people, you have hired the logistics. So where this money will go? Are the money going in the right directions? They will look into it. Why the money is required? See, in this particular slide, you will see prototype creation, product development, website creation, team hiring. This has to be perfect. See, when I'm talking about venture capital funds, they have expertise in that. Even angel investors, they are individuals, but they have a fair idea based on the market. They are dealing day in and day out in this kind of things. So they have people there who will assess. Today, if you look at the cost structure for any company, you can find it out on Google. You can search for it, you can find it out. And when the experts are sitting over there, they can have a very fair idea. You cannot put hypothetical. Okay, suppose if I'm hiring a software expert, he will take only rupees 10,000. Then they will have a feeling that you are compromising on the quality. So always think that they are smarter than us, and you have to prepare accordingly. So funding is required for these kind of purposes. You have to address them in cost structure, what we have talked about in business canvas. Then we have to give them a roadmap for the next 12-18 months for your product, for your technology, for your business. These are three basic areas. The products or services which you are offering must address whether you are will be giving new features, what will be the variations. See, when I'm talking about Swiggy, Zomato, and all that, you will see there are many other variations. They are offering royalty, they are offering membership, they are offering discounts. These are called variations. When a customer is attracted and engaged, if you are ordering a 500 order, they'll offer you discount of 5%. And if you need 10% discount, you have to go into a higher bracket. For a pro member, they are offering some discounts. So this way you have to create new categories for your product or services. Then there is technology roadmap, how this everything will be integrated. Customer interface, your delivery, your logistics interface, they are well incorporated in your technical know-how or not. The roadmap should be clear. Then your business roadmap, new areas, new markets, customer segments, what you are approaching, how they will add up. When you launch a new product, you will have very few customers. When you move ahead, yeah, when you have created different variations for targeted segments, your revenue stream will have variations. This all should be captured. What investors look out for, are the future plans too aggressive or too conservative? There should be a balance when they see it, whether too aggressive. Suppose if the market, what I was talking about, space travel, people, 10 lakhs people are only there in 1 crore market. Suppose it grows at 10%. But when you prepare a roadmap, you say today is 10 lakhs, next year 20 lakhs. The economy is growing at around 6 to 8%. Similarly, there can be variation of 2 to 5%, but it will not grow exponentially from 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs. I'm taking an example to make you have a feel how the proposal should be prepared. What percent of the targets need to be achieved for its next milestones? You have to create milestones for your business. If I have 1,000 customers, if I have 1 lakh customers, I will start a new business line in the same pattern. I will start a new product. I will create a new target segment. So what percent of your targets you have formed or framed so that you can move to next level? Is the current round of funding enough to achieve the required targets roadmap? So the fundings, the cost, the revenue, the profits, these all have a very strong relation among themselves. That the funder, the investor will look into whether you have checked and validated it or not. Please validate it when you prepare a proposal. In this last, I'll talk about what are the opportunities opening up in these areas. It is telemedicine, home delivery, online pharmacy, artificial intelligence, online education, as we all know. These areas where opportunities, the problems still needs to be addressed. Today, we are into 4G. Somewhere on 15th August, Prime Minister of India will be launching 5G services. And you must imagine today, you must imagine how things will move forward. So these were things which I have discussed. If we have queries, we can take, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session. And I hope I was also connected to the students through YouTube. There were many, many queries. So with your due permission, I would just like to take 1 or 2 queries.
Sure, sir.
Of the students. The students are asking, what do you mean by crowdfunding, sir? I've heard this concept recently when I was watching a news channel that even the film industry people are also taking up this crowdfunding concept.
Exactly,
so can
exactly.
you throw some light on this crowdfunding?
Crowdfunding is the film industry. I would like to refer here. We have YK Menon, actor. He
Yes,
want to
sir.
produce a film. He
Okay.
goes to who will invest in producing a film and producer.
Mm.
If he do not have funds, he will pitch his business or his film outline. See, I'm preparing a film based on this theme. So people interested on this will fund it. Recently, we have a film, Kashmir Files. It was
Okay.
prepared on crowdfunding. When we talk about this in our business idea, suppose the 60 students are sitting over here. I'm a very dynamic student, and people have a lot of trust on me. I say, this is a problem which I want to address, and I need 10 lakhs. And you all know my capability. So if you invest 10,000, everybody, I will have 10 lakhs. So this is crowdfunding. That's what, when I have started earlier, I have said crowdfunding is still not mature. Okay, crowdfunding is still not mature in India. We do not have such platforms where crowdfunding would be there. But slowly and time again, when we have entrepreneurs, these things can be done.
So, sir, one more thing. What is the key point that early stage entrepreneur should keep in mind? So, what is the most important thing which we should keep in mind before asking for investment from angel investment?
Exactly. That was the theme of our session also.
Okay.
The thing is, see, what I have talked about, start respecting entrepreneurs.
Okay.
When you start respecting, you will look into people, you will start observing what is the problem. You will look into a problem, the 3 things which you have discussed, whether the problem do really exist. whether people are willing to pay for it, whether any convenience will be offered, whether there's any time saving. These three things are very important for any entrepreneur, be it an early stage entrepreneur. Suppose if I'm opening a grocery store from, suppose there are 100 apartments in their area, and I'm opening a grocery store 6 kilometers near the metro station. If we look into people, why people go to metro station when they are going to some office or some work, whether they will step down and look for grocery, or they will go to their shop, office, or somewhere. So placement or positioning is very important here. So these three questions will be always be a litmus test to look into whether the scale of economy exists or not, whether it is offering convenience, whether it is saving time, or whether people are willing to pay for it. What is the market size? So through few examples I have moved around. I hope people would have get some insights.
Definitely, sir. Very true, sir. So you have wonderfully explained, sir, all the nitty-gritties of this important and burning topic, because people are reluctant to go start up as an entrepreneur, and even when they could find some suitable help in the at the level of early stage entrepreneurship, definitely they will have an advantage and will motivate other investors, other entrepreneurs to start their own small time businesses. So we have faculty members here, sir. So anyone want to ask anything? Because otherwise I'd be stated as an interrupting them. Anyone want to ask anything? Any professor? Yes, sir. Chaubey, sir. Chaubey, sir. Yes, sir. You can ask. Sir. सर प्लीज अपना माइक म्यूट कर दीजिए. आई थिंक कुछ टेक्निकल डिस्टर्बेंस आ रही है. ओके. है? Okay, so that's really wonderful, sir. Actually, because of some technical issues, Chaubey sir would be the right person to ask you in detail and to magnify the topic in detail. Although you have magnified and we are having a number of questions, but because of unavailability of time and constraints, I could not take up all the questions. I will definitely try to post you and request you to please answer some of the important questions related to this topic.
Sure,
and from core and bottom of my heart, and from the representation of IMT College of Engineering and Department of MBA, would like to thank Professor Mr. Gopal Ranjan, who has spared his valuable time to grace the occasion and to give the wonderful insight on this important and burning topic. So I hope we will be having future interaction with you, sir. Because of time constraints, we could not elaborate the session. Thank you for your important times, valuable input, sir. And thank you all the audience who are watching us. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.